Hi, I'm Lucy Wilson and this is my 216 presentation. My prior skills and knowledge. I have camera skills which I think I needed to work on. I've got good time management skills, interpersonal skills, organisational skills. I work well in a team and on my own. I'm good at working to a brief and I like creating ideas. Some of these skills I'd like to improve on and I really want to test how well I can do. So, for my work experience, I decided that I would test myself and do quite a lot of projects and try on quite a lot of jobs. So I decided to go and take a leap in the dark and go to New York, but unfortunately this trip was cancelled due to the volcanic ash. So instead, I took that to the UK and did it right here in Coventry. I worked on this on my own, taking photographs, editing them, and compiling it all myself. This is on my YouTube channel. I also worked for a client on a dance video with Evelyn Tooley, and I also worked on Scorched Ice with Chris Beale. And for my final piece, I worked in Kenya with a company called Cred, where I was a camera operator and I also helped to edit the final film, but you'll hear more about this later. I also applied to many companies, including the BBC, but unfortunately, after going to an interview, I didn't get through. But this helped me because it meant I learnt how to take refusal. And it helped to make me stronger. And I'm really pleased I didn't get it, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to go to Kenya. Looking at the skills I've learned, and upon reflection, camera operator has been the main one I think I've learnt about. I've been able to use lots of different cameras, including the Sony PMW EX1, in which I used a light on an external light and an external microphone. Sound has never been my strong point, and I learnt a lot on this whilst going out to Kenya. I had a lot of problems with sound, including working inside and outside. When outside, I had problems with wind, so taking my initiative, I decided to make a human windbreak. This does sound stupid, but it worked really well, because each person could stand exactly where I needed them to. Whilst working inside, there was not a lot of light as we were working in the slums, so I decided to try and use the external light that I'd been provided by the company, but unfortunately this didn't work very well and the footage hasn't come out that great, so the sound can only be used from this part of the film. I'd like to have done more research about the locations, because then I would have found out they'd have no light and that there was a lot of flat land, so it would be very windy and I'd need a lot more on the microphone. I think this next time I do a film, I need to find out a lot more information about the locations I'll be visiting. The problems were not only in Kenya with equipment, they were also in the UK. The laptop we decided to use to edit could not cope with 80 gigs worth of footage, so we had to find another way around this. Fortunately, the company I was working with researched how to edit offline and helped me with this. We also found out that editing takes a lot longer than we thought it would. We were trying to get 3 films, one 3-minute film, one 10-minute film, and a short 1-minute film, edited in a week. We only managed to edit a 3-minute film in the end. I then thought, at the end of looking at our 5-minute film that we made for Kenya, that we really need to look at it through the audience's eyes. It became quite boring. We had a lot of people just talking and it was meant for teenagers and they didn't want that. It was trying to get them to pledge some money towards these children that really, really needed it. It wouldn't be encouraging for them. So we decided to change it and add some more footage of the children playing and singing in an encouragement to try and help them to see what good would be done from this money that they could give to them. And I've also found out a lot about grading in a film. The interview footage that I had, due to being outside, we had no lights. So the sun kept changing and it did look really bad when we started to edit it. And after a while we decided that grading would be very important in this film and that would need to be done. I found out how important it was to get exact briefs, because often when they changed, like in the dance video, this became very hard to edit. I'd edit a whole film and I thought it was really good, and then Evelyn decided to change the outline and I'd have to do it all over again. Or she'd talk to her tutor and they'd decide that it wasn't quite right and then I'd have to do it all over again. So I think the importance of getting a proper brief is key, because you need to know exactly what you're going to do. So why did I choose a lot of different types of work experience? 1, I wanted to try on lots of different suits, try and see what would maybe suit me when I get out into the real world, whether I'd like to become freelance. This is something that scares me a lot, but I think I'd be good at it. And working for different clients means I'd need a lot of time management, so I really wanted to test this, and I think I did okay. And I just really wanted to test all of my skills. I pulled upon a lot of previous skills that I had, such as prior knowledge of being a camera operator, prior knowledge of using an SLR camera to set up shots. This became very useful whilst out in Kenya. Using my contacts, such as Craig Bruce from Think Audio Productions, so that I could get work experience. And the confidence to do it myself, that really is key. These 4 projects are things that I went out there and found. And I was nervous about working with other people. When I went to Kenya, there was 26 kids that I didn't know before I went. I'd met them for just the weekend. They could have hated me and not wanted to be on camera, but instead I decided to become friends. Friends always want to talk to each other. So I used that to really help me. And they did. They wanted to talk. They wanted to show what problems they had. They wanted to show how you could help to raise money for these children. My life goals are now that I want to become a camera operator. Before I wanted to aim higher and become a producer. But now I kind of want to become a camera operator, travel the world, do more documentary styles, as this is something I really enjoy. I also want to work freelance, and possibly for other companies. This way I can work a few weeks for one company, a few weeks for a different company, and get to do lots of different things. My next step will be continuing to work with Think Audio Productions, as they've offered me work on a dance video, and also possibly to work with Cred again, going out to India. I also want to work in the gaps in my skills still, such as the sound operator. I feel I've got a real weakness there, as I've always relied on other people to help me with sound operating, and I really want to do it for myself. So my next step is to look into it, to research more, and to find out how I can improve my skills. So in conclusion, what did I do? I went out of my comfort zone. I tried jobs within a brief, and I also created my own ideas. The good things I did were tried on lots of different jobs, worked with new people, improved my communication skills such as email, phone. I expanded my photography skills, and I think I really worked to a professional standard. So the bad things about my work experience. I don't think I should work in sports. It's not something that interests me, and I find it hard to film. Also, you need to do a location survey or research your location, because this is something that really put me down towards the end. And the tilt shift project, I don't think was my strongest one. I don't think it worked very well. But I learnt from my mistakes. If I was to do it again, I'd find locations that were further away from the subject, so that it would look more unrealistic after editing. Each of my projects, I think I've learnt something from. Every single one has been individual. Every single one I've worked for a different person, or in the tilt shift I've worked on my own. I've learnt so many different skills that I really wouldn't have done without this project, and 216 has really helped me. Thanks.